Hello everyone and welcome to another video talking geeky stuff with me, Tensi. And today's video is about my recommended manga or mangas. There's three that I wanted to recommend, and you can clearly see them here. So Blade of the Immortal, Legend of Mother Sarah, and Domu, A Child's Dream. I wanted to actually add a few more. For example, Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Appleseed. But I thought about that. If you watch my previous videos, they had their fair share of coverage already. So you can go back and watch some of my other videos where I talked about those mangas separately. So anyway, I'm going to go into and talk about these three that I particularly like. Starting with Blade of the Immortal, written and illustrated by, I'm trying to pronounce his first name, but I know his surname is Samura, so let me give it a try. No, I'm not going to try it, but I'm just going to call him Mr. Samura. So this is published by Dark Horse Comics a few years ago, and I'm a massive fan of samurai culture, films, anime, books, manga. I have a pretty decent collection of samurai swords at home as well, because I do like collecting that. And I even, in my spare time, practice a bit of sword as well. So I like a good samurai story. And this one's unique because when I saw the artwork by Mr. Simura, I just fell in love with it. The way he portrays action, very fast, energetic, dynamic, but at the same time, he has a lot of elegance. You can see just by some of the artwork here. You got the one on the top right of one of the female characters. You can see the shading light to represent the female, and of course the other two will be kind of crosshatch, frenetic shading to represent Manji's character. Then you go down, you've got the painted, elegant, also energetic, and the wild at the same time. So that's why this is if you haven't read it, definitely read it, not just for the artwork. The story is great as well. The story is about Manji, who, I'm not going to spoil it, just to say he has similar powers to Wolverine. the samurai with Wolverine powers. So definitely check it out. A great storyline. Not just violence. It is quite violent, so be careful. You've got a lot of body parts getting chopped off. So do bear that in mind. But artwork's fantastic. Story's great. If you like samurai stories like me, you're going to love it. It's also very good as in interaction with the characters. I love that. Even the villain or antagonist, I like. You actually sometimes root for him as well, and his gang, they have really unique characters. And not only that, this also has a anime series and a live action movie. They're all good. I mean, the anime series is much more closer to the manga. The live action has bits and pieces, but they had to squeeze it into a 2-hour movie, so definitely check the franchise out. And because when I first collected these, they were in single issues, and then slowly, I think halfway through, around issue 40 or something like that, correct me if I'm wrong, Dark Horse started to release them in compilation, like mini books. And of course you can get even bigger books now, so definitely check it out. Anyway, moving on to the next one is Legend of Mother Sarah, written by Katsuhiro Otomo and illustrated by Takumi. I see it's like back to front where I can pronounce Takumi's first name, but I'm not going to try the surname. But of course, everybody who's familiar with Katsuhiro Otomo, he's the creator of Akira, director of Akira anime, author and illustrator for Akira manga. This story. Reason why I got into this story because I'm a big fan of Kazuhiro Otomo, big fan of Akira in general, and of course Akira the manga. And so when I heard about Legend of Mother Sarah, I went and picked it up. And the same, published by Dark Horse in the West. I've got to admit, Dark Horse, I mean, apart from DC and Marvel, they publish some really good stuff. And I'd say I won't go into the story much, but I remember there was a cover of Sarah's face, and the artist drew her just like Sigourney Weaver. And I remember interview with the creative team, and they said that Sarah was kind of loosely based on Sigourney Weaver, or more precisely Ripley's character from the Alien series. I think that was it. Anyway, that was a long time ago. So the story is about, I try not to spoil it, is Sarah lost her kids, and she spends the majority of the story finding her children. And during her journey, she encounters a lot of kind of like adventures. What I love about it is, of course, the artwork. You can see why. For anyone who's not familiar with Kazuhiro Otomo's artwork, they probably can mistaken Takumi's artwork to be his. They're very similar. That's one good thing about the artwork. It's very similar to a similar vibe to Kazuhiro is some action sequences, action scenes drawn with kind of like a fast pace and so on. That's one thing I chose. I like this story because, just like the one before, Blade of Immortal, is, even though it's manga, but it's not like your Naruto or Dragon Ball anime. It's more, how do you say it? I would say, to me personally, I would say they're a bit more easier to get in if you're not into manga. You're more, say, Western DC, Marvel comic fan. I would say these are a little bit more easier to get in to it because the artwork is not your traditional manga art with big eyes and stuff like that. This is more, I don't want to say realistic, but it's more in the style of Marvel and DC. So if you are not into manga, I would definitely start with Legend of Mother Sarah and Blade of Immortal, because I think they are really good entry points for non-manga fans. And on the topic of story, I can't remember which issue it was, if there was a flashback sequence. The whole issue was about a flashback. I remember only the first 2 pages had some text, and the rest of the issue was just artwork. Even though there's only the first 2 pages had text, just the way the artwork, the panels, the scenes play out, he actually told so much story without text. And I think he works so well. That's one of the big criticism I used to find with some Western comics, is where they would just have loads of text just to describe a scene. Just like, for example, when you read Frank Miller's Dark Knight, there's scenes where I felt could have been less text, because comic is a visual-based entertainment. It's not a novel where the novel has to describe the setting, the mood, and everything. Where the comic is a visualized form where the reader can see what's happening. So I think Legend of Mother Sarah plays to that strength. I mean, that was one of my favorite issues, even though, like I said, only the first page or 2 had text, the rest was just pure art. So definitely check that out. You can collect it in book form by Dark Horse. Alright then, next one. On the topic of Kazuhiro Otomo, this one is written and illustrated by him. It's called Domu. The Dream of Children, or the Americans, when they got the rights to publish it, was A Child's Dream. So I actually got this comic or this manga twice. I got the 3-part issue or mini books that were published by Dark Horse, and then I don't remember what happened. I gave it away or lent it away. I kind of lost it, and then of course they released was it Dark Horse again? But anyway, is the image on your left hand side. That is a cover for the book, that compilation of all 3 mini books into one. This was done in the early 80s, like 81, around that time. So it's been, wow, 40 plus years now. 40 years, 41 years, give or take. And I read this over 10 years ago, maybe longer, 15 years ago now. And because the same thing, I'm a big fan of Akira, Katsuhiro Otomo. And once I heard this got the rights to publish and translate into English, I went to the comic shop and quickly grabbed it. The story is amazing. Just like if you've read Akira, you understand what I mean. There's subtlety, just like a lot of the artwork I just mentioned with the previous 2 manga. Is there's scenes where there's literally no dialogue. It's just the artwork. And Katsuhiro Otomo's got this way of drawing backgrounds, like buildings smashing up. They're fantastic, just like in Akira. And you can see that he kept some ideas from this story and transferred it to or used it for his other projects like Akira. Even stories like Spriggan, if anybody's seen Spriggan, the anime movie, I think that was produced or written by Katsuhiro Otomo, and you can see that he kept some ideas. And a lot of the ideas stem from Domu, and I'm glad he, a good author, a good artist, or someone who does just generally creative, always use ideas, recycle ideas, but kind of refreshes it, give it a different direction. And I think Katsuhiro Otomo was one of those guys. But definitely read this. Again, just like it's very violent. It's about psychics, of course, and he loves psychics or telepathics or psychokinesis. Anyway, you can move objects with your mind and control people's minds. But definitely check this out. Check them all out, really. I think they're all amazing reads, amazing art. But warning, they are quite violent. So definitely be cautious of that. Like I said, it's not like your Naruto or Dragon Ball. These are definitely more aimed towards adults. Well, anyway, please give this video a like if you like it, of course. And also consider subscribing to this channel for more talking geeky stuff. And let me know, are you into anime, manga, or have you read any of these mangas before? Anyway, I'd just say thank you, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're in the world. And please stay safe. Until next time, goodbye.